Okay, I posted this song earlier a couple days ago. It was Veterans Day, and I didn't like it, so I took it down and reworked it a little bit and gonna do it again. Um, I was gonna wear my military uniform, but after 25 years, it seemed to have shrunk. I'm not sure what happened. 25 years active duty and another 25 uh, as a retiree. It got my hat on, and oh, and I also got my using my new 12 string electric 12. No, it's not a Rickenbacker. It looks like one sort of. Didn't have $3,000 for a Rickenbacker, uh, but I did have a couple hundred bucks for a Harley Benton. And after a few modifications and tweaks, I think it sounds all right. You be the judge of it. Anyway, here's my Veterans Day song called "The Last Casualty." Robert Lee said, "It is well that war is so terrible, lest we grow too fond of it." Benjamin Franklin said, "There never was a good war, nor a bad peace." Over 16 million military died in World War I between 1914 and 1918, including 166,000 Americans. The paper called it the war to end all wars. Unfortunately, it just ushered in more efficient and horrific ways for us to kill each other, such as tanks, machine guns, aerial bombs, chemical weapons, flamethrowers, and others. This song is about one who died in that great war. On the 11th hour of the 11th day, in 1918, the month of November, the Great War came to an end. It was a day to remember. It was the war to end all wars. That's what the papers read. But since that hour from Babel's tower, millions more lay dead. When will we ever learn, midst the poppies and fields of clover, that the only good war there ever was are the ones that are over? And when the bugles all grow silent and the cannons are put to sleep, when the Western Front is quiet, the last casualty of war is peace. Private Henry Gunther was the grandson of German immigrants. He was drafted in 1917 and quickly promoted to sergeant, and his unit was sent to France in 1918. But then Henry wrote a letter home criticizing the war and conditions at the front and telling a friend of his to do anything he could to avoid the draft. Unfortunately, his letter was read by Army postal censors, and Henry was charged with violating the Sedition Act of of 1918 and to attempting to obstruct the just draft. Disgraced, he was demoted to private. But worst of all, his patriotism and loyalty was in question. On the morning of November 11th, 1918, the French and Germans were finalizing an end to the bloody war. And though the armistice was signed at 5 a.m., it would not take effect for another 6 hours. Thus, on the 11th of November, 11th hour, the 11th day, on the 11th month of November. And though the Germans begged for immediate ceasefire to prevent more useless killing, the French refused. This 6-hour delay resulted in 11,000 needless casualties. On the 11th hour of the 11th day, 1918, the month of November, the Great War came to an end. It was a day to remember. It was the war to end all wars. That's what the papers read. But since that hour, from high on Babel's tower, millions more lay dead. At 10:59 a.m., 1 minute before the war's end, Gunther's unit was approaching a roadblock of 2 German machine guns near Lorraine, France. Without warning, Gunther fixed his bayonet and charged the position, his officers and fellow soldiers yelling for him to stop and come back. The Germans, aware that the armistice would take effect in less than a minute, also yelled and tried to wave Gunther away, but he just kept on running and fired a shot or two. When he got too close, he was killed in a burst of automatic fire. Gunther's comrades recalled that he had been brooding over his reduction in rank and was determined to prove his loyalty in front of his officers and soldiers. So Henry Gunther was recorded as the last soldier to die in the Great War. The Army restored his rank of sergeant and awarded him a divisional citation for gallantry and the Distinguished Service Cross. In 1923, his remains were returned to the United States and buried in his hometown of Baltimore with full military honors. Elsewhere, in Belgium, on the 11th of November 1918, a young German corporal lay in a military hospital, partially blinded by mustard gas, when he received news of Germany's defeat. The young corporal's name? Adolf Hitler. And just 21 short years after the end of World War I, after the war to end all wars, he would be responsible for the deaths of over 36 million Europeans and 268,000 American deaths in World War II. When will we ever learn, amidst the poppies and fields of clover, that the only good war there ever was are the ones that are over. And when the bugles all grow silent and the cannons are put to sleep, when the Western Front is quiet, the last casualty of war is peace.